Morning. Good morning to everyone. My name is Suresh, working as a lecturer in Government Polytechnic Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today we will discuss about the next topic. So that is the fuel injection system of diesel engine, right? Fuel injection system of diesel engines. In diesel engines, what are the fuel injection system? Uh, uh, what is the honor before in last class what we have discussed comparison of two stroke and four stroke engines and comparison of CA engines, SA engines, it means petrol and diesel engines, and then next one wall timing diagram for four stroke engines. Then next one, know the various elements, right? Know the various elements, know the various elements of fuel system, right? Know the fuel system and know the working of elements of fuel system of diesel engine, right? Diesel engines, these are the present topic, right? On or before, once again, what is the uh, fuel system, what are the main intensity of fuel system, what is the main important role, it plays the main important key role will play in the diesel engine system. Which one? It is a fuel injection system. So that is the mainly. So what we are doing, so what is the main to supplying the fuel from the tank which we are stored in the tank fuel to supply the engine cylinder with the help of some arrangement, some amount of mechanism also provided. So that is the main thing to supply the fuel with from engine cylinder, fuel tank to the engine cylinder. That is the main thing. So know the elements, what are the elements are there. Elements means what are the main parts of a fuel injection system, how we are sending the fuel into the cylinder with the help of generally we can't direct to place the fuel into the engine cylinder. To supplying a fuel injection system will be provided, and at the same time the fuel will be sending with help of in the form of spray formation, not for the liquid formation. It will be send pass through the to the engine cylinder in the form of spray system. So with the amount of spray system, so we need to go with help of mainly there are number of elements are there to supply the fuel from tank to the engine cylinder in diesel engines, right? With help of use what is the main, what are the main elements, what are the main elements in uh, what are the main elements in fuel system. Generally there are first one is the fuel tank is main important, will play so to store the fuel. Next to fuel, feed pump will be provided. So feed pump is used to pressure raised. So how much amount of fuel will be placed in tank. So through with help of pump will be provided to raise the pressure of fluid. Next one, filters also there. Filters, what is the function of filter? To filter the fuel which we will stored into the fuel tank. So it will be completely filtered. Each and every drop of fuel will be, every drop of diesel will be completely filtered, right? So filter will be provided. And injection pump is the to inject the fuel from the tank to the injection system. Through with help of injection system, uh, inject the fuel into the engine cylinder with help of fuel injection pump. So that is the main thing. Next one is the injector. So which part is placed inside the injection pump? A small amount of injector will be provided with the help of flash system, with the help of spray system. The fuel will be sending to the engine cylinder. These are the main important. So now fuel from the fuel tank is enters into the fuel pump. Fuel feed pump. The feed pump is pressure raised. So what is the function of feed pump? Feed pump will pressure raised. Fuel is drawn into the filter where the all the dust particles will be removed in filter. So that is the main thing. So you can observe here is the figure is there. Fuel injector is there. First of all, fuel tank to fuel pump to filter to the fuel injection pump to the fuel injector, and next one it is sending to the fuel engine cylinder, right? Engine cylinder. These are the main. Right. So that is the main thing. These are the main components of fuel enters into the injection pump where the pressure is increased. Whenever entering into the fuel injection, fuel will be entering into the injection. The pump will be fuel feed pump will be tank. Fuel feed pump tank enters the fuel feed pump. Right. The feed pump is pressure is raised. Fuel drawn into the filter where the all dust particles are removed. Right. That is the main thing. Right. Next, fuel entering into the fuel pump where the pressure is raised. The high pressure of fuel sprayed by means of injector only. Right. So with the help of injector, we are spraying the amount of fuel into the engine cylinder, diesel engine cylinder. Right. Right now, this is the figure. So fuel feed pump, what is the fuel will be entering into the from bottom of oil from tank, right? Then next one, the fuel will be entering into the through the pressure feed pump to supplying the to feed pump, fuel feed pump to raising the pump, fuel feed pressure to raise the fuel feed raising purpose. We are using this type of fuel feed pump are using. Mainly, what is the function of fuel feed pump? Main fuel feed pump draws the fuel, it means diesel oil, and supplies to the fuel injection pump only, not for the cylinder. So the fuel will take from the tank, collecting from the tank and sending to the fuel injector only. Fuel injector only, right? Working with a consist of plunger will be provided, which reciprocates in a barrel. So working is so which will be reciprocating in a barrel, right? You can observe here working. The consist of plunger will be provided, number one, which reciprocates the in a barrel, from 1 to 2 position. Then next third one, the pump is driven by cam 4, driven by cam. The pump always it will be driven by the 4 cam only of the shaft fuel injection pump. When the cam is at minimum throw, plunger moves upwards, sucking oil into the suction chamber. Right? When the cam is at minimum throw, plunger moves upward. So which is placed in third one. Uh, it will be minimum throw, plunger moves upward, sucking the oil into the suction chamber only. Right. Next one is coming to the next level. Delivery valve is 6 always remains closed. Further movement of cam pushes to the plunger down the compressing the return spring. Right. What will happening? Further movement of the cam pushes. The plunger is down. So compressing the return valve. Pressure in oil builds the up and delivery valve open. Suction valve is closed. Whenever when pressure in oil builds up very right the pressure in oil builds up and delivery valves open, suction valve is closed. Right. Oil rushes out of delivery valve and enters the pressure chamber above the plunger. When the plunger again moves upward, the oil is compressed in pressure chamber uh, 2, and it is directly discharged out to the injection pump. Right? It is directly discharged to the injection pump. The main thing is the to raising the pressure of main fuel feed pump is the main function will be the to raising its pressure into to sending to the fuel injector pump to supplying from it will be absorbed from the tank and sending to the directly to the we are sending to the directly to the we are directly sending to the fuel injection pump only. So that is the mainly we are using, right? So then next one, here is the main thing. Next figure you can observe fuel injection pump. It is a fuel injection pump. Injection pump main function to inject the fuel into the engine cylinder through with help of a barrel. With help of barrel we are sending into the engine cylinder. You can observe here is the fuel injection pump. So function will be the first one is the consisting of plunger, and second one is the barrel. So second one is the inlet supply port, next one spill port, next spring, next one is delivery valve. These are the main parts of fuel injection pump. These are the main part. So each and every function will be there. You can observe here. So first one is the plunger reciprocates inside the barrel with the help of cam. So plunger reciprocates, always plunger will reciprocates inside the barrel with the help of cam, right? With help of cam. And then next one, during starting plunger is at the bottom of the stroke. So during the starting of plunger always at the bottom of the stroke, inlet port is open to fuel supply from filter, right? Inlet port is open to fuel supply from filter. When the plunger moves up, inlet and spill ports close. Always what will happen, the plunger moves when the inlet and spill ports always will be closed. So that is the main thing, right? Then right, you can observe again, fuel pressure inside the barrel increases and delivers the valve open against spring pressure. Fuel enters the fuel injector, then fuel will be entering into the fuel injector. For further rotation of cam spill port is uncovered and fuel passed through it. Pressure above the plunger reduced. Deliver valve is closed by the spring action. So deliver valve of spring action will be closed. So fuel injector, this is the fuel injection pump, right? The fuel injection pump serves the supply of metered quantity of fuel into the engine cylinder, right? Again, the principle of fuel injection pump comprises plunger reciprocates in a barrel. Barrel is a cylindrical one with two diametrically opposite ports. One is inlet port and other is a spill port. Inlet port serves the to lift the barrel space above the plunger with the fuel. The upper portion of the plunger is provided with a vertical groove. Next, fuel injection pump is connected to fuel injector through delivery valves, which opens the under fuel pressure against the spring action. The plunger turned by means of control sleeve which is driven by rack and teethed segment, right? As the plunger moves up, it closes the inlet port and spill port of the barrel and pressurizes the fuel in the barrel. The fuel pressure increases, causing delivery valve to open to allow the fuel to enter into the fuel injector at high pressure. If the further raise the plunger at a certain moment, the spill port is connected to the edge of the helical groove, right? As soon as spill port uncovers, the fuel passes through the vertical groove and annular helical grooves to the spill port, thus reducing the pressure of the fuel above the plunger. As a result, the delivery valve is closed. The spring action, the quantity of fuel is delivered is controlled by the turning of the plunger only, right? That is the fuel injector pump. So this is the injection pump. Then next one, you can fuel injector. What is fuel injector? Fuel injector is this is the fuel injector. You can observe each and everything. Internally barrel will be provided to supplying to observing fuel from the fuel injection pump to the barrel only. Then
orifice is provided for the to supplying of fuel. The right side figure you can observe it's a cross section. So how much amount of fuel entering into the, so what is the nozzle is provided through orifice. So how much amount of fuel is delivering to the delivering into the engine cylinder. So we can observe here fuel injector, fuel injection, function of fuel injection atomize the fuel, forms a spray and inject into the combustion chamber forming fuel air mixed. So while supplying of fuel injector atomize the fuel. Atomization means a tiny particles like little bit of a small amount of a spray type of particles forms a spray and inject into the combustion chamber forming a fuel air mixture. So that is the main thing. Then the nozzle, the injector consisting of nozzle and nozzle ball and spring and rigid body. So these are the main parts. The fuel supplied by the injection pump enters the injector. So whenever entering the fuel oil leaves the nozzle walls because of pressure only, right? Then the oil pressure can be adjusted by set screw pressing the coil spring, while right the high pressure of oil ejects out of the nozzle holes in the form of spray only, right? You can observe this is a figure of a fuel injector, right? One second, one more time again, again I am explaining what is a fuel injection. Once you can observe here, this is a fuel injector. So here you can observe here the injection of a injector. The function of a injector is to spray the high pressure of fuel into the engine cylinder. It is basically spring loaded valve which opens the oil fuel pressure. The part is typical injector. Then next the fuel form of injector pump enters through the fuel inlet and it is directed down to a space below the nozzle wall, right? The space will be due to the high pressure of fuel, the valve is lifted against the spring pressure, right? The valve is lifted against the spring pressure which can be adjusted by means of adjusting screw, right? The fuel is then sprayed through nozzle into the engine cylinder. It means combustion chamber, right? The fuel is then sprayed through nozzle into the engine cylinder. It means combustion chamber. Any leakage of excess of fuel takes off through the leak pipe. The valve is again closed by the spring pressure only. So that is the main thing. This is the function of main fuel injector. This is the main function what I am told so up to now. The main function you can observe here. So how we are sending fuel, pressurized fuel is entering into the barrel, then spray it is formed into the atomization form, right? You can observe here figure. So by supplying of fuel with help of a pressurized fuel, you can observe here as a figure. In figure you can observe here, right? How much the light amount of fuel is entering into the fuel injector, it will be again atomized or sprayed. It is dividing into tiny volume, a tiny volume of particle. It will be divided, right? Then next one you can observe next one fuel filters. So fuel filter function will be the same. Filter is the main function to fuel feed pump to supply the fuel feed pump, and next one it is a to clean the fuel function, to clean the fuel. Observe here function is clean the fuel by elimination the vapor, air bubbles and dirt particles, right? The main function of fuel filter to clean the fuel by the elimination of vapor, air bubbles and dirt particles while supplying. Then working, how it is working, it consists of a bowl, a perforated tube within a tube and a filter element. This is the filter mounting on the suction pipe feed pump, right? As the fuel sucked by the fuel pump as the fuels is sucked by the feed pump. The fuel from tank first enters the filter bowl, right? That is the main thing. Then it is passed through filter element in the performer tube and leaves for the feed pump. The dirt particles are retained at the surface of the filter element and perforated tube, right? These are collected at the bottom of the bowl and are drained periodically, right? These are the function of fuel pump. Once again, you can observe here what is the function of to clean the fuel by eliminating the vapor, air bubbles and dirt particles. These are the main function of fuel filter. Fuel filter main function to clean the fuel while supplying the fuel from some areas to the filter, and it will be directly supplied to our vehicles. So even to clean the fuel by eliminating the vapor, air bubbles and dirt particles. So what are the working? So it's consisting of a bowl. So you can observe bowl, a perforated tube and its filtered element. Inner side filtered element is provided, and next one the filter is mounted on the suction. Due to a suction side is feed pump, so one side is a feed pump. As the fuel is sucked by the feed pump and the fuel from the tank enters into the filter bowl, right? Then it is passed through filter element in the perforated tube and leaves for the feed pump. The dirt particles are retained. So where it is retained at the surface of the filter element and perforated tube only, right? These are collected at bottom of bowl and drained periodically, right? These are the main function of fuel feed system, fuel pump. So in this period what we have discussed various elements of fuel system of diesel engines, working of feed pump with sketching, and next working of fuel injection pump, working of injector, working of fuel filter. These are the main parts. So in this case we have a small amount of quiz is there. Which one of the following is not related to fuel system, right? You can observe here carburetor. In diesel engines we are using everyone. Injector we can use, next filter we are using, injection pump. Carburetor are using only in petrol engines only. So the purpose of injector is to first one is to clean the fuel, deliver the fuel into to the fuel injection pump to spray the high pressure fuel. None of the above. To spray the high pressure amount of fuel. So what are the questions we will get with help of with a neat sketch? Explain working of fuel injector, explain the working of fuel pump. So these are the regular questions of so in this class what we have discussed, first of once again just I am repeating various elements of fuel system and the fuel system of diesel engines only, not for the petrol, only diesel engines. Working of fuel feed pump, so how it is working of fuel injection pump with a neat sketch, working of injector with a neat sketch, working of fuel filter with a neat sketch. These are the main each and everything. Finally to supplying of fuel from a tank to the engine cylinder with the help of these are the elements is the main, and again it will be raising the pressure of fuel system, fuel feed pump, and at the same time to raise the pressure and at the same time to clean the fuel. So each and everything, the function of each and everything, feed pump function will be the same. What is the tank, what is the function of tank, what is the main fuel will be the entering into the fuel engine. Fuel will be collected from the tank. So tank will be, we will charge with help of fuel pump stations also there in outside we will supply. So the main consideration, main parts of fuel system, main parts, what are the main parts of fuel system you can observe here. First one is the fuel tank, second one is the fuel feed pump, third one is the filter, next one is the injection pump, fifth one is the injector. These are the main elements. These elements are using further to supplying of fuel from the tank to the engine cylinder, diesel engine cylinder. So each and every one element is plays many key role, many key role it will play. So maximum amount of fuel will be developed, maximum amount of fuel, little bit amount of fuel will be little less amount of fuel will be supplied to the engine cylinder to igniting. Right, this is your class today. Thank you.
Again we are discussing about the once again I am repeating the same topic, fuel injection system. Once again, please listen carefully. Right, so the main elements in diesel engine, fuel system in diesel engine, the main elements are fuel tank, fuel feed pump, filter, injection pump and injector. These are the main parts. So these main parts are used for the fuel injection system. So what will happen, each and everything, first one is the fuel tank. During the operation, so what will happen, the fuel from the tank enters the fuel feed pump. The feed pump, the pressure of fuel is raised slightly, then the fuel is drawn into the filter where all the dust particles are removed. Right, from the filter the fuel enters into the injection pump where the pressure of fuel is increased above the pressure of air in the cylinder at the end of the compression. At this high pressure, fuel is sprayed into the engine cylinder by means of fuel injector. Any spill over fuel in the injector is returned to the filter. Right, this is the fuel system of diesel engine. Right, so in this you can observe here also, fuel from the fuel tank enters the feed pump. The feed pump pressure is raised, fuel is drawn into the filter where all the dust particles are removed. Right, so fuel injection system, fuel enters into the injection pump where the pressure is increased, the high pressure of fuel sprayed means of injector. So this is the so again we have a fuel feed pump is provided. One more thing, fuel feed pump. So fuel feed pump is, this is the figure of fuel feed pump. The fuel feed pump serves to deliver the fuel to the fuel injection pump. The fuel feed pump must deliver adequate amount of fuel to the fuel injection pump at a pressure about 1.2 bar to 1.2 bar. The working principle of so we will observe the working principle of pump is fuel pump. Right, it's consisting of, you can observe here, it's a consisting function. Fuel feed pump does the fuel and supplies to the fuel injection pump. Right, working, it's a consisting of barrel, plunger and two valves. The plunger is actuated by spring and cam. The plunger is actuated, the plunger and cam. The plunger requires two strokes. The plunger requires two strokes to deliver fuel to the injection pump. Due to the rotation of cam, the plunger moves upward against the spring action. At the same time, the inlet valve is closed and the fuel is forced through outlet valve. At the initial lift position of the cam, the spring force of the plunger to move downwards. The downward movement of the piston creates low pressure above the plunger. Right, and fuel enters into the pump through the open inlet valve as the cam continues to rotate. The plunger moves upward and the pressure above the plunger increases. The pressure causes inlet valve to close and outlet valve is to open and the fuel is expelled from the pump. So this is the function of fuel feed pump. Right, then next one, fuel injection pump. So fuel injection pump serves to supply of metered quantity of fuel into engine cylinder. The principle of fuel injection pump is comprise plunger reciprocates in a barrel. You can observe here each and everything. What are the main parts? So the main parts of plunger barrel, inlet port, and spill port, spring delivery. So what is the working principle? Plunger is broken inside the barrel with the help of cam. During starting, plunger is at the bottom of stroke. Inlet port is open, a fuel supply from the filter. When plunger moves up, inlet and spill ports are closed. Right, the fuel pressure inside the barrel increases and deliver valve opened against the spring pressure. Fuel enters the fuel injector. The further rotation of cam spill port is uncovered and the fuel passes through it. Right, pressure above the plunger is reduced. Delivery valve closed by the spring of action. So you can observe these are the fuel injection pump. Right, then next one, fuel injector is there. Same function will be the provided, just like to supply the fuel supplying. Right, that is the main the function of injector. The function of the injector atomizes the fuel. Right, the function of an injector to spray the high pressure fuel into the engine cylinder. It is basically a spring loaded valve which opens by oil fuel pressure. The parts of typical injector are shown. You can observe here. First one, compression cap. Second one is a valve spring. Third one is nozzle holder. Fourth one is the valve spring. Fifth one is the nozzle cap nut. Next one is the valve. Next one, nozzle. The fuel from injector pump enters through the fuel inlet and is directed to down a space below the nozzle valve. Due to high pressure of fuel, the valve is lifted. Right, the valve is lifted against the spring pressure, which can be adjusted by means of adjusting screw. Right, it is adjusting screw. The fuel is then sprayed through the nozzle into the engine cylinder. Right, any leakage of excess of fuel takes off through the leak of pipe. The valve is again closed by spring pressure. Right, the valve is again closed by the spring pressure. So this is the function of fuel injector. So we can observe. So you can observe here the function of how we are going. So fuel is entering into the from rear side, back side, pressurized fuel. It is released from the spray tip in atomization form. So inside of each and every particle is electrical attachments are provided and solenoid is off. A valve spring also provided by the applying backside. So we are what we are discussed before earlier regarding of fuel injector. Right, each and everything will be the like the injector consists of nozzle. The oil pressure can be adjusted set screw pressing the coil spring. The high pressure oil eject out of the nozzle holes in the form of spray. Right, the high pressure oil eject out of the nozzle holes in the form of spray. So you can observe here. Right, each and every thing will be going here. For finally, the fuel will be supplying in the to the engine cylinder in the form of atomization, otherwise spray formation. In that spray formation, that is the main cause for the to supplying the fuel into the engine cylinder. Right, thank you.